to the second day of the octave of Easter. In Nigeria, we call it Easter Monday. This is right here on Enterprise Morning, reaching you from Enterprise Television. I am Henry Igwebike. We'll be starting off today with our newspaper headlines, and right after that would be our main conversation also. But please do well to be part of what we do. Have a say in what we say. You can always find us at enterprisetvnews.com. You may equally like, comment, and follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV7. We have right here in our studios Barrister Evans Ufeli, Barrister at Law, Public Affairs Analyst. Good morning to you, Barrister, and welcome.
It's my pleasure. Good morning.
Yes. All right, so let's start off today with the first a story on our desk is coming from the Vanguard newspaper, a sad one. A breaking news, of course, that Pope Francis has died. Died at the age of 88, and that is made possible from the Vatican. And we have it authoritatively here, where it is said that, dearest brothers and sisters, it is with deep sorrow that I must announce the death of our Holy Father Francis, said Cardinal Kevin Farrell in a statement published by the Vatican on its Telegram channel. Pope Francis died on Monday, aged 88, a day after making a much hoped for appearance at St. Peter's Square on Easter Sunday, the Vatican said in a statement. Barrister Vansofeli, a very sad day for the globe. He is an iconic figure, an opinion leader. Looking at the history of popes over the years, they've been very instrumental to world politics, to humanitarian causes, and so on and so forth. What does this mean for the world at this time?
No, it's a sad moment. I mean, much so that it coincides with the Easter celebration. But at the point of the Easter celebration for Christians is the spot of reassurance of the salvation of man, and that this is actually post-resurrection period. It was actually today that those who were guarding the tomb, lied that the disciples of Jesus came in the night to take his body away. And they were later bribed by the chief priests, who went ahead and they spread the lie. That's actually what happened today.
Yes.
But for the Pope, it's a moment of sober reflection. I mean, he has served diligently. He died at 88 in his personal residence at Santa Maria of the Vatican. He was ill at some point and all that. So for all Christian faithful across the world, and particularly the Catholics, our heart goes to the family and to the larger body of Christ, the Christendom. He's a man of huge influence, talking about world politics, talking about influence in the economy, in the politics, and all over the world. He's a man that stood for what is right in humanitarian causes and the rest of that, and for the entire bishopric, the clergy all over the world. I think it's a moment to reflect on stewardship. You understand? Those who have been given the mandate, those who are called by God, okay, to administer, the flock. It's a time to actually sober reflect on whether your calling, you're actually doing the work you are supposed to do. Because no one will leave this world alive, whether clergy or not clergy, whether businessman or not businessman. We are all going to at some point exit. But what is important is our contribution and impact to humanity. Like you can see the Pope, he lived a very influential life. I mean, he impacted people. I mean, impactful life rather, and he's able to, set the records about his faith in God and in humanity and the flock itself. So I think there are no scandals as such. Unlike some persons who are riddled with scandal here and there, whether they are true or they are false. So a leader should be upright. That's what I see in his life, and others should emulate what is right.
Very, very well said. Of course, as much as we mourn the death of the Pope, of course, throughout his little years of administering the Vatican and all, there were lots of things he said that didn't go down well with lots of people, even with the followership of the congregation that he, of course, he administered, and that is his stance on the LGBTQ thing. And he said that Jesus, according to him, did not discriminate. Okay, he allowed everyone to himself. In fact, he was there with the sinners and all in order to draw them closer to him. But in a world where we sort of try as much as we can to discriminate, what have you got to say about what he stands for and what the world is speaking against?
I think he stands for the human liberty, that what should constitute the pathway to humanity is not to discriminate. People's preferences. Okay, I know it's a very tough one for a clergyman to want to stand and defend people whom the world have seen as obversive, or people whom the world see as people of wrong. How do I put it? People that have wrong moral standing, that because they have some sort of disorders, because perhaps I see it as disorder.
Yeah, true.
But he didn't take an iron cast stand that they are condemned. He didn't do that, and that was how Jesus equally lived. I mean, even when they brought Mary Magdalene to him, the Bible says she was caught at the very act, which is adultery, and there's a standing law already on it. So, I mean, as a leader, you shouldn't tell the people not to follow the law. They wanted to follow the law and stone her to death. But he told them that, I mean, who among you have not sinned? Cast the first stone. And that was how he dealt with those issues. Okay? So, because people, if we all agree that the LGBTQ community are sinners, or they are sinful, if we all agree in that. But you see, the Holy Writ also said that there's no smaller or bigger sin. Those who are straight also, that commit other sins, are not different from them, if actually we all agree that they are sinners. And if truly their problem has to do with hormonal dysreaction, it will take a lot to, you have to be very callous to conclude that because they have disorders, then they should be ostracized. If it is I think the world should rather, through science, go deep into the causes of this and intercept it either at birth, either through treatment, either through orientation, either through therapy or whatever. It is when they have exhausted all that they can earn the moral justification to condemn. That's what I think. That's what I think about it. They say if you talk too much about it, that the subject is not good to intellectualize the subject. That we should just condemn it. That was just. But when in philosophy, we're taught that when they say a thing is bad, what makes it bad? Is it that because you were told it's bad, or you grew up to hear that it's bad, that is why it's bad? What exactly makes it bad? We start to look at the epistemology of the circumstance itself, and begin to look at how knowledge is formed, how perceptions are formed, how, all those things. But if you over-intellectualize it, they will say you are part of them. That's why you're defending them. There are people who criticize the Pope as being part of them. That's why I was defending them. But the truth is that he took a stand that a leader, ought to have taken. Because Jesus himself was with all kinds of people. I mean, the Pharisees, and they were all over the place, monitoring his step, teleguiding him, condemning and all that. But the assignment at that office and that echelon, that office is not where you begin to condemn people. If you think they are not okay, you need to find a means to make them okay.
Very true.
That's what I think.
Very, very true. Because of course, with science and technology, and that is what it is meant for. Help us uncover, secrets that used to be mystical, before or now. So let's move to other matters coming from the Vanguard newspaper. We have 2027 presidency. No candidate can win without the North. And that's coming from Baba Ahmed, who was once someone signed to the APC and working for Bola Ahmed Tinubu, but of course he is no longer, with the president. Do you really think that no candidate in Nigeria can win without the North? It's obvious.
No, that's the truth,
isn't it?
Yeah, because when he said the North, he's referring to 19 states.
Yes.
And you need 24% of 25 states to win election at the center. Okay. So how do you get 24%? 24%, if you put that by 36, including the FCT, what are you talking about? Yeah, you cannot win you cannot even win election with 2 regions. You must negotiate the third one. And it's even deeper. If you win 2 regions, and the third one you are negotiating is the Northwest, you still have problem. Because
now,
there's a way they vote.
We are looking at this from the 6 regions now, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm looking at it from the 6 geopolitical zone.
Okay.
Vis-a-vis the North he's referring to. The North is referring to is 19 states, which include the North Central. Because it's only when there are serious crises in the core North that the North Central used to pull back and say they are not willing. But when it comes to politics, they vote in the same block with the core North. The only place where you have dissent is Abuja and maybe Plateau. Then Benue, Kogi, and Kwara. You understand? So, but you cannot really, by the structure of the constitution, you need that 24% of 25 states to get it running. And if that is the case, if you have the South, you have the South-South, you have the Southeast, and you have the Southwest. Okay? If you have all that, you must still negotiate the North. Because remember, the Southwest too is a very slippery area to deal with in politics.
Slippery?
Yes, the Southwest.
How do you mean?
The Southwest, the support of the Southwest is slippery because they are more about the convenience of their region. They vote based on the convenience of the region, what is inside for them, not for the country.
Oh.
Yes, that's how they vote. When APC zoned to the south, the argument then was that it should go to the southeast because they've not produced any. Now at the same time, Bola Tinubu came out and said the APC constitution was they zoned to the south and not southeast because they wanted people to clinch. So, that's why I'm saying that the Southwest will vote based on what is in for me, for our region, not for the country. That's the pattern. That's the pattern. Then the Northwest, they vote in blocks. If they support one person, the whole 7 states, if you check the history, the whole 7 states vote for that block. So even if you have 2 regions and you are negotiating the North, most of them will first go and see how they can get the Southwest, the Northwest.
But looking at the antecedents of Baba Ahmed, what you said is rational compared to, I want to believe, what he is referring to. I think what he is referring to is that that core oligarchy that belongs to the North, okay, that where decisions are made by pockets of people, not the generality of everyone. Don't you think that is actually where he is looking at?
Yes, that decision, they are unitary. The Lakarawas, or what do you call them? Those ones. They watch night to hear what that caucus tells them to do politically. They watch night, like That caucus, they will go into their whatever they do, and they come out and say, this is where we are going to. All of them will go that way. That is why he's saying you cannot win without the North. He's talking about the cooperation and the unism of the North. If you don't tread well, you cannot win. You can't win through, you can't, they have to, because even when you talk about population, okay, and you talk about landmarks, you talk about those who really have the PVC, even if you are going by free and fair election.
Those who are ready to vote.
Those who are ready to vote. Child voting, underage voting, that's where they have it. The ones that are very 2 or 3 years old, they have PVC. They are politically conscious. Okay? So what he said, there are a lot of factors in their favor that will actually cause it to happen. Even if it's free and fair, they can make it happen. They can stop you and they can make you. That's what he's saying. Yeah, you are talking about the oligarchy.
Yes.
You see, you can do oligarchy in the North easily. You can turn everything around. Then with the West too, you can do that to an extent. But when you talk about the South, when Lord Lugard, during the colonial rule, it was easy to gather the Westerners. Okay, it was very easy. The only thing Fred Lord Lugard did was to strengthen the Oba. Otherwise, there was an established democracy in the West, pre-colonial era. There was Oyomesi. The Oyomesi checks the Oba. There was the Ogboni court that represented one dimension of governance that works, and there were check and balances. You couldn't, the Oba, there's a way the Oba will act. He will be giving calabash to go and commit suicide. Once it goes outside the code, and that happens. Now, when Fred Lord Lugard got to the North, he found a similitude of the same thing, but then the North was stronger in centralization. So what they did was just to change the Akali court system, adjusted it, and the unitary system operated very well. You have all the hierarchy of powers from the Madawaki to the Waziri to the all the offices.
Yes.
You understand? Already established, because there was an Islamic revivalist movement in 1804, wherein Sharia law had been established. Okay, so what the white men met was an established system, a legal system already existing before they came and did what. But when they got to the East, they discovered that it was as a fellow system, a system that is autonomous. Everyone have a pocket of no democracy. Nobody is subject to anybody. Everybody have, so just the rallying unit, just the Okpara, we do not have wide-reaching influence on the people.
Beyond
people were much more. So it was an as a fellow system, a system that that's why when Lord Lugard used the warrant chip to introduce taxation, it led to the Bar Women Riot of 1929 that claimed a lot of lives, and they were not used to it. So when you look at that political context, it's still like that, those nuances, those trappings still exist in our current political system. If you look at the Easterners, it's difficult for them to bring one person out and others rally around him. Many of them will come out at the same time.
Yeah, very, very true.
But in modern day politics, where you want to rule an entire country that have different ethnic groups, that model cannot work. That model need one person, others rally around.
Exactly. Now, looking at this particular issue, if you read further on what Baba Ahmed has said, he said that if Bola Ahmed Tinubu tries to rig the 2027 elections, that there would not be peace in Nigeria. Do you see chicken coming home to roost?
Well, it depends on what he thinks he's saying. What kind of rigging are we looking at? Are we talking about? The riggings have been so scientific and advanced that we are rigging on the field, we are rigging with the umpire, you understand, and you are buying vote at the same time. Which of them really is he talking about? The people are going to sell their vote. That one is given, because they're even poorer now than they were 3 years ago, 2 years ago that they voted. They are poorer now. They sold their vote that time when they were not as poor as they are now. So it is given they will sell their vote again. That's the probability. Now, between that time and now, INEC leadership have not changed. Their posturing have not changed. They did not even feel they did anything wrong. They were in court acting like a political party. They were in court, where INEC is supposed to be a nominal party. In every case, you join them because they are the umpire. But they were arguing for APC in court, like they're a political party. So is that the INEC that you want to use for this election that will not compromise? I don't understand. Okay. The security agencies that are deployed, the ruling party pay all of them. So during election, somebody carried ballot box during election, and someone went to report to the policeman, and the policeman was looking at him. They see, the rigging is systematically done. Security agencies are settled. So they are only just there to look at whoever wants to maybe scatter the system. But whoever wants to carry the ballot box and they don't care about that.
Can do as much as they
Anybody
can.
that wants to prevent that rigging is the person that they are against. Instead of being against the people that want to rig. You understand? So if you settle them, you have settled those ones. You have settled INEC. You have settled the people because they will do vote by it. So what is left? I don't know what he's talking about, but the system is not. The political system is so porous and so compromised that to threaten Bola Tinubu that he will not return again, maybe he has some things he wants to introduce.
Well, let's just hope that the coalition would do the magic they have set out to do, and let's see how that unfolds. But let's take a look at other matters here. Death toll in Lagos building collapse rises to 515 rescued. Unfortunately, I was there this morning. I actually went there to do a special report on that, but of course I wasn't allowed to film. They said I had to wait for regulations for me to be certified to shoot and all that. But the little thing I saw there, the rubble is still there, and the little people I spoke to actually were able to speak. The people living around there said the building has been there for a very long time. That over time, because of the neglect, that was why it failed. And secondly, the owner of the building wanted to start rebuilding it again. So maybe the stress and all of that caused the collapse. But speak to us on building collapses, especially in Lagos State. Wherever we have building collapses, Lagos. Is it that the homes or the buildings built in Lagos are becoming so moribund? Or is it, what exactly do you think is the problem?
So many factors are involved. First of all, the Lagos State government should stop people from building houses halfway and suspending it. Some people build houses halfway and suspend it for 25 years. Maybe it was meant to be a 3-story building. When they come back after 25 years, when water had weakened the structure, they still believe that building is still fit for a 3-story building. They will continue.
Exactly. That was what was the case on this particular one. I was told this morning.
Yes. Sometimes they will now add to it. They will bring this engineer, that engineer. The one that started the building is no longer there. You bring a fresh one that don't know the depth and the integrity of the structure. That one starts suggesting that you will make more money, you will have more layers, and they begin to build. Okay, so most of them don't do soil tests. They don't know the capacity of what the soil can hold. You understand? So they just keep building that. When buildings don't collapse, it's just by the grace of God. Otherwise, all the buildings should be collapsing. When you look at the way they go about building it. Okay, even if you have done everything you need to do, and you erect a building and you abandon it, you come back and you want to complete it just like that without looking at the so many factors are involved. Some don't even do any tests at all. They don't consult anybody. They just go to the regulatory authorities and pay. And most of the times, what the regulatory authorities do is that when they come to inspect, they're not inspecting whether the structure is of good standing or with integrity. They're asking whether you have paid the levies. So it's not even about, and then because you want to continue work, you settle those ones that are on the field. You give them something for Babas or Kwe. You drop. Now at the end of the day, you come with all the receipts that you have paid, you have been cleared. Meanwhile, the building itself is not standing proper. So at the end of the day, these things are collapsing. I know about that building. I've known that building for a very long time. I've lived in Ojodu Bega for 25 years and more. So I know that building and I know that the origin and all, there's no way it wouldn't have collapsed. There's no way. It would not have collapsed. So the Lagos State government first, if you must build a house, please count the cost. Do a soil test. Do all the evaluation. Start it and finish it. Don't leave it hanging for decades. Then you come back and just plaster it. It will fall to collapse. Because the environment, the weather condition has weakened whatever it is. Because you did not cover it, it's not in use. When a building is not in use, it collapses. Even if the structure is very solid, it is not in use for too long, it will collapse. So those are the things that they need to do. They need to look into the science of it so that people don't keep in some countries. When a house is, I think I know that in Dubai and some other countries, when a house is 25 years old, you have to bring it down and build another one, start a fresh structure. It's like that in Russia too. Okay. Or when they want to change the look of the city, they issue orders to bring buildings down and change the outlook of the city. So those are countries too, where regulations and all that. We have not even started at all. The one we build with survivor, we're just moving. We're not even talking about the outlook of the city, the aesthetics we're not even there at all. We're just putting up things and battling with the regulation.
No greenery.
Yeah, no greenery. And here it's easy to actually settle the regulatory authorities, and they will allow things to go. So as long as we settle, there's no way building will not be collapsing. It's given.
Well, that's so very unfortunate, and it's more sad that in Nigeria we do not have any natural disaster like earthquakes and all. So we are just left with ourselves in making the right decisions and allowing things to work the way they should work, and hopefully we would get it done. That's just all we have for this segment, and we'll be right back. Just to let you know, Barrister Vansafili will be here to take us on our main conversation. When we return, Tinubu warned of uprising. Tunde Bakar Islam's Tinubu's government sets Nigeria at a breaking point. It's still Enterprise Morning. Please don't go anywhere.